Today we are presenting on innovating water security for African communities. My name is Denise and I come from a civil engineering background of more than 30 years. As water is a finite element, the big question is how do we create this illusion of infinite water the way nature has done for billions of years? While water is the most common element on the planet, only 3% is fresh water that can sustain human life. As the global demand for water keeps pushing on this limited resource, we need to become more innovative with water usage. Water is the promise of life and can be linked to all the UN sustainable goals, some directly and others indirectly as virtual water, and even quality education for young girls to attend school instead of harvesting water for their communities. At a global level, South Africa's municipal water usage is almost 3 times more than the global average, and this means we have capacity to improve our water efficiency. Of the municipal usage, almost 20% is utilized in schools. The new emerging engineering division is ecological engineering. While this division is globally recognized as an independent sector, in South Africa it falls within the civil engineering industry. Ecological engineering focuses on systems thinking and creating regenerative design solutions. Moving forward, the big question is, can we go beyond sustainable into the realm of regenerative design by adopting net positive water to mimic the natural water balance? The pre-development water balance sets the targets that we need to aim for in order to stay within the ecological boundaries of a site, with the understanding that no two sites will be the same because of the topography, rainfall, soil and vegetation types that influence the natural water balance. Our current design practices disrupt this natural water balance, resulting in extreme drought and flooding. We have indirectly created our own challenges by introducing large impermeable surfaces and not retaining enough vegetation in the final designs. By going back to nature, we can start to design communities that are water sensitive and align with the natural water balance of a site. To leverage the impact of regenerative design, we have to aim for the targets set by the pre-development conditions while paying attention to runoff, infiltration and evaporation. There are so many benefits to adopting a regenerative design solution. The most notable is the reduced municipal demand by focusing on a hybrid off-grid solution. This will enable many developers to move forward with projects that have been shelved due to a lack of bulk municipal capacity. In a country with an aging infrastructure and no budgets, economic water scarcity is a real risk and challenge. The other real advantage is harnessing the power of nature to do the heavy lifting, directly reducing energy demand and mechanical parts. The mega school would be a very favorable project for a regenerative design solution. In the case of a day school, it would favor a water-sensitive design approach in order to manage rainwater. By utilizing rain gardens to drive water back into the groundwater system for borehole harvesting in the dry season, especially as 50% of the water demand is for irrigation purposes. With regard to sports field water usage, equal usage of borehole and municipal water is apparent. While the majority of the gardens utilize municipal water, these are the results from an audit of about 60 schools located in Gauteng North. Should the mega school have boarding facilities, then it will tip the solution more favorably towards a net positive water solution, where recycling grey water and even black water can contribute towards the water demand of the other utilities. This is made possible because the true potable requirements for most domestic use is in the vicinity of 30%. In order to create this regenerative design change, we have to aim for the targets that were set by the pre-development conditions, paying attention to the water supply, wastewater reclamation and stormwater management. In order to build resilience into the design, we need to diversify the water supply. Rationalizing the water demand as fit for purpose, we create an optimal water balance for a project. We then further look at borehole, water vapor harvesting, and wastewater reclamation as part of the solution. By harvesting water locally for amenity water, we can decentralize to an off-grid solution, effectively creating free water while reducing the risk of flooding. Rainwater is one of our purest forms of potable water, requiring the least amount of effort to purify, and it should be used exclusively for potable water or irrigation and not toilet flushing, which seems to be the trend. The potable water demand can be reduced by 60 to 95% of the normal consumption depending on the design solution adopted. Potable water usage is further reduced by incorporating water-efficient devices such as composting toilets, waterless urinals, and hand basin sprayers. When we look at the wastewater system, we need to consider reuse, reclaim, and recycle as much as possible. We need to treat black water as a valuable resource by recycling the nutrient-rich wastewater for irrigation and urban farming. It is also possible to use this reclaimed water for non-potable uses such as toilet flushing and washdown areas. The benefit of a biotreatment system is that it mimics nature's purification process without the use of harmful chemicals. These systems also have very few moving parts and are low in energy demand that is suitable for an off-grid solar solution. One of the main reasons for decentralizing the wastewater treatment system is that 90% of South Africa's wastewater treatment plants do not operate correctly. They are fundamentally dumping raw sewage into what is a downstream user's potable water source, indirectly creating health challenges. Another wastewater recovery system that is very cost-effective is grey water harvesting. The Living Machine was a student initiative that won the Zayed Sustainability Prize in 2018 and was designed and built in 2019. EnsO Earth were part of the design and construction supervision team. This was the first grey water reclamation living machine to be built in Africa. The system effectively harvests 1 kiloliter of grey water daily from the kitchens. The water is being used to irrigate the agripreneur sustainable farming studies. The Living Machine is now incorporated into the science and biology teaching curriculum as part of the nature-based solutions. Students actively participate in managing and monitoring the system's health. These are the two innovative students, Buntia and Jessie, with their teacher Hans, who guided and supported their bid submission. The system operates solely on gravity with minimal solar power usage to aerate the second set of aquatic cells. Water-sensitive design and net positive water are holistic systems that incorporate rainwater, wastewater, and stormwater management. One of the biggest stormwater challenges in urban design is detention storage. This is a direct result of the large impermeable surfaces that have been introduced into our urban spaces. The current design philosophies often result in underutilized, inaccessible spaces that are expensive and unsafe. Having designed many of these terrible ponds in my past, this has for me been one of the most exciting aspects of stormwater management in this new context. Because who would not want this in their back garden? There's a lot that can be said for biophilic design that brings nature and water back into our urban spaces, contributing to our overall well-being. Rain gardens or bioswales is another important strategy to drive water back into the ground, to bank it for later extraction via boreholes, further adding to the resilience during the dry seasons. Tree wells are another example of self-managing solutions that serve as a filtration system as well. The latest trend is permeable paving and the option to treat the parking areas as water reservoirs for slow release after the storm peak. Rumble strips also help reduce runoff velocities with the added benefit of traffic calming. The final design solution will always depend on the site conditions, but these are examples of what is possible. EnsO Earth then went on to push the boundaries of conventional wet services engineering to embrace net positive water for the Corlet project. This building was designed in accordance with the Living Building Challenge, which has one of the highest water certification programs in the world. This is demonstrated by the fact that of the 600 certified buildings globally, only 50 buildings have achieved full net positive water certification by the International Living Future Institute. The fundamental design philosophy of the living building net positive water is that the building meets all its water demands within the footprint of the site, without the use of harmful chemicals, and must incorporate rainwater harvesting, wastewater and stormwater management. The philosophy of the living building is to design a building like a flower, where it will meet all its immediate needs within the footprint of its site. The objective of the design is to increase evapotranspiration, reduce surface runoff, and increase infiltration. Adopting net positive water principles, we were able to reduce the potable water demand by more than 60%, to less than 10 litres per person per day for a commercial building. Once certified, this project will be a groundbreaking first for the African continent, as it will be the first Living Building Challenge certified net positive water project in Africa. So this is a big shift from what we were doing 20 years ago. So the question I get asked the most is, why change? Why incorporate a non-profit into the organization? The answer is actually very simple. It was an evolution. I did not wake up one morning with a burning desire to change the world. I just wanted to ensure a future for my grandchildren. It was a series of small incremental steps that brought us to this place. That has led us to create these 3 different divisions in EnsO Earth. Our foundation is a non-profit company, and its function is to secure funding and develop the business cases that will support our vision. Projects is our traditional for-profit company that has existed and executed engineering and construction projects for the past 3 decades. Our initiatives are a hybrid partnership between the for-profit and non-profit that promotes this shared vision. At the heart of this is the Regend initiative, which will build capacity by training the future designers in regenerative design solutions. As infrastructure is the backbone of civilization, we will continue to push forward to find the projects that will become the tipping point while we design a better future. This is the start of a new chapter for us, where we learn from nature to design a world that works with nature in order to ensure our future on this planet. Please follow us on social media to learn more about how we will ensure our future. www.ensoearth.org